Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back again, and we're specifically going to be talking about more Texas news in regards to redistricting. We have to talk about the escalation of things. So, we mentioned briefly that Gavin Newsom is threatening to redistrict California in efforts to retaliate against Republicans' efforts to redistrict Texas and Ohio for the 2026 midterm House races. There's only one problem when it comes to that, though. When it comes to specifically the said motive and actually delivering, you'll see California is not a state like Texas can easily be. Texas is a state that can deliver because it is, of course, the maps are decided via the legislature. Instead, there is an independent commission, nonpartisan commission in California that if Gavin Newsom would try to actually try to get the independent commission to get maps, that would be probably a scandal because Gavin Newsom's inserting left-wing politics in a nonpartisan, bipartisan commission. So, womp womp, I guess California, Gavin Newsom is not the best way to retaliate. The best way to retaliate against Republicans, well, I don't know, because Democrats have gerrymandered their way across the country. You get spaghetti strings like Illinois. You could go and say, hey, Governor J.B. Pritzker, you try to get these 3 districts. But then again, it's difficult because I would suppose, get the 16th district into the 10th district and move the 10th district down into the Chicago suburbs. But it's going to be pretty difficult, not to mention, if you want to take the 16th district, take something from the 17th district, that would make the 17th district pretty winnable. The 13th district is pretty winnable, is pretty much in the hands of Republicans. So Illinois is off the table for retaliation, but you also got New York. New York's going to be difficult. Virginia, you got Democrats, but the Democrats, of course, might have the governorship in next year in 2026. Who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on that race. North Carolina is going to be difficult because Republicans have the legislature. So there's no real opportunities that Democrats have to redistrict. They're kind of stuck unless they want to go after Colorado and flip those 3 Republican seats. That's not really the best way. But the threat alone has got Republicans to retaliate even harder because now Republicans in Texas are threatening to flip 7 seats in one. That's right. 7 seats. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by 7? Well, we can go through this once again. We already talked about in the last video, put the 16th district into Republican hands because, of course, you put southern El Paso into the big Hispanic district that's very Republican, and northern El Paso along with El Paso and along with some conservative areas right here. That would make it, unless I want to believe they're conservative. They had to be conservative. We can actually take a look at a precinct map 2024 to double check because I know that northern panhandle right here tend to be more liberal in 2018, in 2016, and potentially 2020. But I want to believe, seeing how, of course, that this makes sense because this county is 70% Republican, and it would incentivize. You'll say take this area and put it along the New Mexico border. So it would be allegedly pretty Republican. You have also the southern district here. The 28th district, Henry Cuellar's district. I personally think he's going to be out of the business regardless. You just add this big corner here, a whole big bunch of counties, a group of counties here, add it to the 28th district. It's relatively Republican. The only deal is that you're probably going to have to make up for the population given from up here, and you might have to incentivize probably giving this area to the said 28th district. So that's the one thing I want to believe. And the thing that we're not going to be least excited about is the change in regards to these areas. No change really in regards to seat pickup, but obviously different change in regards to constituents and of course different cities when it comes to that. So no real change other than the design of the map, but we will still hold those seats pretty evenly. But yeah, this is pretty much what it would look like. And this is kind of an unrealistic border, if you will. I'm not trying to do realistic borders. Well, kind of. Yes and no. I'm not worried about borders if it's... I don't want perfectionate borders. But as you can see, I did split Vicente Gonzalez's district. It's actually right up here. And I actually added the southern area, the southern part of the district, to this said district, Henry Cuellar's district, the 28th district. Cutting through this area, and so you'll see it's somewhat Republican. You got to keep in mind these communities are somewhat liberal, more liberal compared to average elections. But yes, you'll see this is 28 districts cutting through the whole entire Mexican border. This district has no connection to that border at all anymore. Instead, I moved it up a little inch. And we actually might do that now. Right here. Forgot to color it in. But yes. And now, sure, it'll be like, oh, well, won't the area, like what's it called? The San Antonio area, this district, be influential towards the people that there? Well, keep in mind, it's not actually 80%. It was mainly 80% because there was like an independent candidate running in this said election. Normally, that district is actually, that district's more, of course, right here, it's more somewhat tossed up. So it's lying to you, believe it or not. It's not actually 60 said what percentage. Instead, I could actually take this map and actually use this map instead, since it's actually more realistic, and so these colors won't lie to us much. I'll try my best, but let's see. Yes, try to implement those same changes. Yes, the 23rd district, that southern part to the 23rd district, add it to the 28th district. Okay, right here, straight line across. That's all we need, and that's pretty much enough, in my view, to keep it red. Got some good Republican counties up there. Although those that used to be a part of the Hispanic area, but they're relatively pretty Republican up there now, and I could trust that they're going to make a good swing. Okay, so then you have the 23rd district. I split this right here evenly, and I take this area along the border, stop it at some point, take the border here, so there's the take it El Paso, and then suddenly you got a red El Paso County. El Paso's now red, similar how they divided Cincinnati up. But yes, you get a red El Paso there. All right, I hate to do this again, but the difficult Greg Casar's district and the Spaghetti String district, of course. We'll see how this plays out. We did this last video. Take this, extend it over here, add it to the rest of Austin, downtown Austin, it looks like. All this is probably the low income areas. This is what Democrats try to do. They're trying to gerrymander a Republican district. Relatively, this would be more actually, I would say it's more 60% now that you're adding the more people into that. The downtown area makes it more liberal, even though this is pretty liberal enough. Here's San Antonio. Now, I think this would make the district a little bit more liberal, and that's fine. We're not aiming really to pick up San Antonio anyway. It's going to be a bit difficult to pick that up. But, yes, you'll see it looks like this, sort of. Now you got just... We'll go ahead and add this district, or you could go ahead and split this district in two. What that would mean, for sure, Republicans would pick. This would be a solid win. So if you, like, this district takes this part of the county, this liberal area. This part takes this liberal area. And we give this area, make it a part of this the spaghetti string district. Then there you go. You got a very good Republican stronghold in the said state of Texas right here. No more gerrymandered Texas. They will go ahead and cry, boo-hoo, why don't you cry? You're trying to remove low-income people from your red district, racist! We know how they play their game. But this is what a good map, a favorable map for that spaghetti string district that I like to call the little rope. But yep. And there you go. So yeah, that's called Republican gerrymandering. And that, of course, you gain 4 seats for sure in regards to that. There's the other thing also. Actually, we got to do this seat also. I thought I was done. But for those of you who are wondering how I did that, all I did was I took that whole entire area, put this area, give it to the 28th district, Henry Cuellar's district. And here's the thing. Now it's getting a little big because, so at some point, I do think that a little bit of population needs to be exchanged. So how this would work, I don't know. Probably. Well, you could get that. I would say, and to make things less complicated, let's just go ahead and do our original plan. Even though I kind of liked the idea that the 28th border would take the 28th district would take the whole border. But let's go ahead and do this. Here is our that's Gonzalez, the 23rd district, the 34th district. What am I thinking? 34th. You got the 15th district's pretty callable. You also got the 35th. So now you got 12 to 203. That's pretty good. Now you'll be wondering, okay, what you said is 7 seats, or this is 4 seats. What are you talking about? Well, Republicans are noticing that there are a couple seats specifically in Houston. Notice, Houston is more lighter then again, Houston's not really the big liberal city like you want to believe. They're like Austin and San Antonio. No, it actually is somewhat more winnable. Specifically when you try to get these two lighter counties. How we're going to do that, it's going to be, or districts, excuse me. How we're going to do that, it's going to be pretty difficult. What Republicans can do is obviously, you got to realize, this is gerrymandered pretty good, right? This is gerrymandered. This is a spaghetti string in Houston. We know that it can be done the other way. It's going to be hard. And I'm hoping what I think it could be done is you could take this area separately and extend it into this area. This is just an idea. This is not a proposal. It might not work. I might be second-guessing myself. And you could, if needed, you can move this district into this district if needed. But supposedly that would give that district right here, try to figure out what district that was, Houston, this district right here, this is the 29th district, that's Sylvia Garcia's district. You basically add a little bit, a huge chunk of the 2nd district into the 22nd district. It's a big thing to ask. And obviously, this will probably join with this. So we're gerrymandering the Democrat gerrymandering. Obviously, we're undoing the Democrats' work in Houston that they've had for a long time. And we have the mandate to do it. Republicans have a good governor in Texas. Republicans have a good legislature. This is not going to, and it starts to look a lot like Al Green's district right down here, which in some ways is somewhat gerrymandered in his favor. This district is also a part of the said 3rd district, or whatever that district is called, the 29th district, so you add that in, and obviously it would look very different. I would say probably add a little bit to Al Green's district, right here. So you get 5 district changes. And I could be doing some things wrong, and I'm sure I will be educated in the comments. But this is just really level 90 gerrymandering. Try to break these up. So it starts to look a lot like Atlanta, you notice. There's a difference between Houston and Atlanta. And there's non-Democrat jury in Atlanta because, it's a red state with the red legislature. They won't necessarily let Atlanta be gerrymandered, but you'll notice it's very simple. You don't have spaghetti string going around like they do in Houston specifically. Why do they do that in Houston? They're trying to get minority areas. They're trying to get that minority areas, those low-income areas that tend to be favorable for Dems. So, and Republicans are saying, okay, we're going to, obviously, this is an unrealistic map. It's obviously going to say the Republicans are going to aim to win the 29th district, allegedly. But they're going to do it in regards to like something like this. It's still going to look like everything is intact. But this is the 29th district right up here. Right up here. This is what it is compared to this district. That district's the 2nd district. You might want to take that district and make it a little bigger because you have to make up for that population, like I said in the last video. it has to match the census. So this is what you're probably aiming for. Yeah. Okay, so you also have the 7th district, which is also winnable. That would be number 6 pickup. And with that, how we could do that, you could break it up like we did with, and that would be a bit harder because here's the deal. You got these 2 pink districts. If you add like this district to this district, you might, it could be possible you could have it be Democrat. This would turn Democrat. This would be beneficial. So what you could do is you could actually do something very sneaky, and you could actually have this area go into this area. Here's your 7th district. Now, it could be a little bigger. Whoa, no, that's too big. Well, I don't know. This is just a hypothetical. But you see how I added a lot of some counties in the 60% district? That basically helps reinforce. It might be still compatible to a point because of that area. But that's your 7th district. Okay? And hang on, there's still a lot over here, though. Then again, you could say, oh, Democrats would want you to add this, all of this to this. You don't want to do that. Don't add it to this district. That's going to really help Democrats. Instead, you want to add, probably, split it up between Al Green's district and Al Green and this open district, that the former district of Sylvester Turner, who passed away, yet to have a special election. He might have new borders. Mr. Turner might not be happy his district's being redistricted while he's deceased. We're messing up his district. So Houston's a little bit bluer now out of everything. No more light blue. Well, it was worth it because we took the light blue areas and we collided them with Republican areas. So, yeah, you got 3 districts in Houston. We just basically moved the more compatible districts out in the exurbs. And that's what we can do. Relatively, what's the change? See if there's a change. Pull up this map. Yeah, there's a lot of spaghetti string here compared to less here. It's similar how we used to do it with Cleveland. I remember Cleveland was divided up into a lot of different spaghetti strings, but Cleveland now just has Cuyahoga County. That's because Republicans took control. What about in Dallas? And if we do something in Dallas, then that would mean 7, right? That would mean 7 districts. Or, I could be wrong. Republicans could add a little bit in San Antonio. Or they could try to divide San Antonio up. Now, and that would incentivize in 7 also. But we got to remember, I did add this string here that made it to 60%. So that's the thing here. If you want to get, if you want to flip the 35th district, you might want to add this tail end to the 20th district. So that's going to be difficult to do. But you could do the same methodology as you did with El Paso. You divide it. Okay? You could have Now, here's the thing. You don't want to undo your hard work, right? You don't want to undo your hard work. So try to put it in a place that's relatively going to, like, you. I think it's the panhandle's big enough to handle this part of the area. So I would go ahead and say, give this to the 23rd district. Okay. I am not sure about this area. You might want to take this area here. It could be the tiniest little area. Make it right here. That's your district. And you can divide and conquer. So I divide it in 3. So you're splitting it up like you did with Cincinnati. This is your new San Antonio. Now, this will mean that the 22nd district will be relatively pretty compatible, but it is what it is. You might want to add this area, and I don't think maybe it gets a little more pinker, but not by much. But this is your kind of new map. No more San Antonio. This is your gerrymandered Texas. That's 7 seats. So you can add the 20th district, and it may be unrealistic. But let's just say Republicans are coming up with that effort, and a lot of us are going to be like, okay, it's going to come up with a lot of work to get 7 districts. But add that to Ohio. What do you get? Add that to Ohio. 1st district, 9th district, 13th district, you get 218. So Republicans are supposedly gerrymandering themselves to the majority. And if Democrats want to play that game, go ahead. But here's the thing, Democrats. You guys still think it's the party of 2022. The party of 2022, the Republican Party of 2022, was very weak. They were very, very friendly to you because they were still worried about January 6th, worried about, we don't want to be called racist, we don't want to be called bigots, and blah, 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 blah. They're so afraid to play your game. So now you got Trump in office, you got Republicans, and they're like, screw it. We're just going to do whatever. And if the thing is, Democrats want to say they're digging the midterms. We're not, because first of all, we have a state legislature. Okay, it's not nonpartisan like you have in California, where Gavin Newsom threatening to coup that commission, to take it over, make it partisan. This state legislature has Democrats on it, and hey, Democrats, it's up to them in Texas to form a coalition, to get together and vote to block Republicans. But the problem with that, and they know it, there's not enough Democrats. And Republicans have a solid majority in Texas. So it is what it is. Democrats, you want to fight back? Go ahead. I mean, we already reviewed it at the beginning of the video. I don't know how you can fight back. You've basically gerrymandered everywhere, including Nevada's even gerrymandered. Look at this. You got 1 Republican district in swing state Nevada. And yeah, you gerrymandered the whole country to an extent. And it's not like, what's this? Governor Hochul is starting to get involved. then fine, we're just going to go to Florida. Ron DeSantis, you want a presidential election career? You know we can just add a little bit of the 8th district, add it to the 9th district, add this district, the 10th district, to the rest of Orange County, and we get the 9th district. Boom. And we do the rest, and we do the 20th district. Then we go into the 14th district. Yeah, we're just going to start gerrymandering states. So Democrats, if you want to play silly games, you win silly prizes. So, and because your goofball, Gavin Newsom, decided to get involved to threaten us to take over an independent commission of nonpartisans to make it partisan to implement his far left agenda, then sweet, amazing. We don't care. We're just going to gerrymander even harder. And you just saw the consequence of Gavin Newsom opening his mouth, threatening us. We just added +3 seats to Texas. And that's all we need to clinch the majority. That's all we need. So, if Democrats, you want to cry, boo-hoo, it's not fair, Republicans are rigging the midterms, then shut up. Democrats, you started this by adding this district, Alabama 2, solid Democrat, to your pile. You also took Louisiana 6, you tried to take Wisconsin 3, that failed, thankfully, and you added New York 19. You started this war, Democrats, and really, you made your bet, you gotta lay in it. So we're losing so much accountability and consequences in this said country. Democrats started the war, they're gonna pay for starting the war. So anyway, if a gerrymander war breaks across the country, amazing. We're just gonna grab as much seats as we can. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below, and as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.